coffeeed up, back on the road. So we were talking about accessories. You got the panniers and the racks, like I said, from an eBay seller out of India. I'll link the eBay seller down in the description, along with all of the rest of the accessories I discuss. Anything that I've added to the bike, I'll put links down there so you can check it out. You know, possibly might be a good fit for what you need to. The racks and panniers, there's not much to say there, you know, because they are the Royal Enfield, factory accessories. As some other people have indicated, there were little tensions, I guess I'll call it, in fitting them up to the bike. But you know, a lot of that has to do with just reading the instructions, loosening all the bolts that they tell you to loosen, bolts or nuts, any of the fasteners. As part of that process of installing, you need to make sure that things can move around a little bit. You get some flexibility, and that'll really help you make it a less frustrating process. All in all, I did that for the most part. There was one set of nuts that I failed to do that with, and I think it caused me a little bit of trouble squeezing things in. But all in all, it was very simple. It didn't take very long. Really a super easy process, and in the end, you get these rock solid mounts. I mean, it feels like it's part of the frame, the main frame of the bike. It really does. And then the panniers themselves, they seem to be great. I think I don't know that I would trust them to be 100% waterproof for a long haul or anything, but I don't know. I mean, I've got a dry bag. I have a couple of dry bags from kayaking and stuff, the super thin ones that I could use if I really needed the extra protection, or anything else. But I don't know, I think they're really good. They got a rubber seal at the top, and I think the weak point is probably where you tighten them down to the rails themselves. That fastening system has the large wheel on the inside of the pannier that you use to put tension. On the outside, there's a bar that comes off perpendicular from that fastener, and then it basically rests on the back side of the pannier rack and pulls it tight, pulls the two together. So inside that mechanism, there's an O-ring that I assume is supposed to keep the water from going through that fastener system. I don't know how well it would work. It doesn't seem like there's any kind of snug fit to where that and that O-ring would actually be sealing correctly, but I don't know. Regardless, doesn't matter. I'm very happy with them. I think they suit me well for the type of riding I'm mostly doing, that is not off-road. It's going to be country roads, and it's going to be going to pick up coffee. So I need a place to put the pounds, and it's great. I can just toss them in there, and along with that, I keep like a multi-tool. Even though the Himalayan has its own toolkit, it comes with it, but you never know when you're going to need a multi-tool to get the blades and everything else on it. I keep a vest. I keep also the thermal layer for my jacket system. I keep that in there. I have, like right now, it's the temperature gauge on the instrument cluster says 59 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not 59 degrees Fahrenheit out here. It's colder than that. That always picks up some of the engine heat and gives you a little bit of a false indication. But whatever. So anyway, that being said, I have my outer shell and my rain liner in the jacket. Currently, I do not have the thermal layer on, and I find that to be completely sufficient for these needs. Nice people letting me through. Thank you. And then if I need it, you know, if it were to get super cold or start raining and get colder because of the rain, evaporative cooling, folks, it's super powerful. You got to watch out. My wife's an avid runner, and she's real careful about going out in these they can be deceiving times, fall and spring in particular. You get a day where it's, you know, maybe in the mid 50s, and you think, well, that's certainly not hypothermia territory. Well, guess what? It really is. If you get some rain, and you start getting evaporative cooling on top of the regular cool temperature, you know, the body can compensate for that regular 50 some degree temperature with no problem, especially if you're exercising. But once you include the evaporative effect on top of that, suddenly you're talking about an outside temperature that is, you know, 30 plus 40 degrees down Fahrenheit below the normal body temperature, and you add to that an active cooling effect that is impacting your entire outer layer of skin. You're going to get hypothermia in a snap, and it can happen. All right, enough of that tangent. You know, it just makes you unsafe. You know, even if it's not a hypothermia that's going to, you know, freeze you into an icicle on the side of the road. It's nothing as dramatic as that. What it is it starts to make it difficult for you to do all of the right things you need to do while you're riding, to maintain your full attention on everything that's going on around you. Head on a swivel. You need to keep moving, keep looking around. Those sorts of things become more difficult the colder you get, and then also you've just got regular controls, brake, clutch, and everything else. Everything becomes a little more difficult to do if you're freezing cold. So, all right. So that all that to say, I keep my thermal layer in my panniers, and I also keep an extra set of gloves in there. During these times, I of course keep a face mask in there as well, and you know, extra battery for the GoPro if I'm recording, and so just some random equipment. But it's nice to have those buckets of storage back there where I can toss things in, and not even have to think about it. I don't have to be particularly efficient about how I pack that stuff, which is nice too. I mean, you know, if I'm going on a long trip, of course I'm going to concentrate more on trying to make sure I have everything packed, you know, in a very efficient manner where it needs to be, where I can easily find it. But if I'm just going around town, yeah, it doesn't matter. You just toss it in, and I know it's in there if I need it. So I also got the engine guards. What I like about those engine guards, I got the GV that are made for the Himalayan, and they have the 3 mounting points. I'm going to link you to a video, and I apologize, I can't remember the YouTuber's name, and unfortunately I haven't seen any content from him recently, but I'm sure if you're all watching my video, you certainly would have run across his, because mine, I'm a new channel, my stuff's all buried, nobody's ever going to find my videos. By the way, please like and subscribe. This is kind of fun stuff, and I know it was very valuable for me when I was looking into buying the bike in the first place. It was great to be able to kind of just check these things out, but also ride vicariously. I really enjoyed that factor of it too. I couldn't ride myself. Well, I was for a while. I was riding my old Honda that I was restoring, but it wasn't nearly the same, let me tell you, because that was a bike that I was trying to restore to as original condition as possible, also make it reliable and rideable, but then with the purpose of selling it. So I didn't want to put a ton of miles on it or abuse it or do anything like that. I wanted to take it out for the rides that I needed to take it out for, to test it, but there wasn't a lot of joyriding. So once I knew and completely fell in love with the Himalayan, I started watching videos and just, I don't know, riding along vicariously with everybody else in the YouTube community that was nice enough to share their ride time. You know, you've got, of course, the now famous, I think I can safely say that, Itchy Boots, Norley, who everyone, I guarantee you, if you've gotten as far as my videos, you've watched all of her content. She started out on the Himalayan, so you can still go back and watch all of those older videos from when she was on that bike. She did reviews and all sorts of interesting discussions and topics and travel to go along with that content, which was fantastic. But anyway, all that to say, I do like to do this, partially because I really enjoyed the fact that the rest of you in the YouTube community did this before me, and it brought me a lot of enjoyment when I, you know, wasn't able to ride my own Himalayan, and it also was very informative and helped me make decisions on things like accessories, which frankly, in a lot of cases, these are not cheap investments. They cost some money. Not only did they help me find ways to save money, and that's my point with this GV engine guard discussion. I was able to save money by ordering them from Carpimoto in Italy. They do sell them. You can get them in the States, but most of the places were out of stock or were charging nearly twice as much as Carpimoto. And I assume that has something to do with the fact that these are made in Italy. But I don't know for sure. So I did get those GV engine guards, and the fit on those was really good. You can tell that they are definitely engineered for this bike specifically. And the fasteners were all great. Everything was included that I needed. You have to manhandle the exhaust a little bit to get the right side bottom mount in place, but it's not a big deal. You just kind of pull back on the exhaust a little bit, put a back pressure on it, and you're able to slip that fastener in and get it started on its threads. I would just caution people to be careful not to cross thread when they do that, but you'll get a feel for it. It's not bad. That was the only portion that was a little more difficult. So that is in place, and or I'm sorry, they are in place, the guards, that system, and I love the way it looks. I think it'll do a great job protecting the bike if I ever do lay it down, and I think we'll be. By the way, people talk about the brakes not being great on this. I do not agree, and maybe it's a matter of feel, just what people have been used to riding over the years or something. Maybe there's a difference, but I had to do a hard stop there, and I stopped within probably 15 to 20 feet, and it was just super solid feeling, and I had a lot more to go in terms of putting pressure on the brakes. I could have had them bite in harder, and I've got, you know, of course, this is what in India they call the BS6 because the emission standards, but we're calling it the 2021 Himalayan here in America. Anyway, so this supposedly has some marginal improvement on the brakes, but I don't know specifically what they did. If they increased the the capacity on the calipers or what happened there. But in any case, I got no complaints about the brakes. These are great. Okay, so engine guards, they are on and they're great. I'll link that down in the description. You know, my neighbor, he as soon as I got this bike, I brought it home, and he fell in love with it as quickly as I did. And I believe it was 3 or 4 days later, when he had time, he went to the dealership and bought one from the same dealer that I got mine. It's not in yet, but it's on a truck on its way. And so anyway, he and I are comparing specs and thinking about what, you know, accessories to do and stuff. And he's been digesting at a furious rate the same YouTube content that I've been looking at, and so discovering as well that there are a lot of options out there, and some of it comes down to personal preference. Actually, a lot of it does. Some of it comes down to budget, how much you want to spend on things. Doesn't always lead to better quality necessarily, but sometimes it does. And in any case, he's looking at a different set of engine guards that kind of bump out a little bit more. I'm not sure what the brand is on them, but I'll find that out. And at some point in a future video, I'll link that and get his thoughts on it too. We can maybe compare them side by side, because I think that'd be interesting. So, by the way, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the area, probably not, but I am in a town called Ravenna, Ohio. Interesting town for a number of reasons. One of the primary reasons that this is an interesting town, and my apologies if I don't get the history 100% right here, but at one point, this town essentially grew up around an asylum, and you know, the old days, it of course would have been called and was I think called an insane asylum. That is so not politically correct these days, and with good reason. I think it's absolutely terrible. I went to school for psychology. I am not a psychologist, but I'm certainly enough of a humanist to acknowledge the fact that it is not good to just dump everyone with any kind of mental health, potential mental health issue into the grossly inadequate and inappropriate title of insane, and just warehouse them in an asylum. It's crazy. But okay, so anyway, that's a tangent. In any case, the other thing this town is known for, kind of interesting, is the Ravenna Arsenal. It is a huge military complex that is mostly hidden from the road. You can't really see much of it, but it is gigantic, and people have done, there's a really good book written about the arsenal that tells you some of the history, what they did there. I think basically it was a munitions plant, possibly started during World War II. but I'm not 100% sure about which war really drove it. I think Vietnam was probably what really got the production cranking up there. But it has since just sort of, parts of it have gone into decay, but it's still blocked off, still all fenced off and guarded, and I think the National Guard has a base there now. So they're using some of those facilities still, and it's just certainly an interesting place. I understand that I believe they still let, oh, here you go, here's a piece of history, an old mail pouch barn. So let's go back to a motorcycle. Other Himalayan accessories. Let's see. I do want to get some driving lights on this, but I'm not sure what to do about that yet. It's really funny. You look on a lot of the big name motorcycle part dealers that are online. If you look for driving lights, fog lights, whatever you want to call them, they typically start at pretty high prices, $250 and up in some cases. And what I'm struggling with is, do I need anything of that caliber? I'm not doing the Dakar Rally. Remember, I don't have the 1250cc bike that sits 20 feet in the air. It's just, I don't know that I need all of that. I think one of the things I'm concerned with is just other driver visibility. I would like to increase that to whatever extent I can, even though I have the brightest jacket in all of humanity. But I want other people to be able to see me, because that's one of the main keys to safety. And I think the lights will help, and that's probably the main reason I want to get them. So do I want to spend $350 on a couple of lights to strap on the front of the bike for a little extra visibility? And on top of that, and I'm going to link another video for you, Fort 9, Ryan Fort 9, as he calls himself, has the Fort9 YouTube channel, and that's an interesting. He has an interesting take on lighting, and I say interesting as if it's only his. I think it's based on some. I think it's backed up by some really good logic. One of the issues is that you put extra lights on the front of your motorcycle, right? That normally has one light in the center. As soon as you put two other lights on there, are you changing how other drivers see you, in particular at night? Because his argument is, do they see you as a car that's really, really far away because you have two lights that are close together, but then you turn out to be a motorcycle that's actually really close, and will that affect how they drive and ultimately your safety? I don't know the answer to that. I do tend to think, and this is just my opinion, but I do feel like having, as long as you leave your main light on, if you leave your headlight on, by the way, I'm pulling into a Dollar General parking lot here, one, because I'm probably going to head back the other way here in a moment, but two, because my hands are getting a little bit on the chilly side, so I'm going to let them warm up for a second here. The light argument, I don't know how I feel about that. I think I'd rather take a chance on people being able to see me, period, than misinterpreting my lighting scheme as something that it is not. That's just how I feel. So, there's more to go over, there's more to talk about, but I think I'm going to stop it there for now. I'm just going to shut up and enjoy my ride back. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I really do hope you give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Consider subscribing. When I get into the coffee topics, I'm going to be doing some reviews, and some of that will be local. A lot of it I'm going to try and focus on local roasters, but the thing is, they're local to me, but they'll ship in some cases worldwide, so it doesn't mean that you can only have them if you're here. So if you like what you see, you might be able to get some for yourself. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time on Cafe ADV.